Welcome, fellow treasure hunters and numismatic enthusiasts, to a journey into the fantastical, the impossible, and the truly mind-boggling world of era coinage, where a seemingly humble coin can command a price tag that rivals the fortunes of nations. Today, we're not just talking about a rare find, we're delving into the legend of a coin so profoundly flawed, so utterly unique, that its theoretical value has soared to an astronomical, almost incomprehensible $500 million, the mythical 1968 quarter dollar. This isn't a story of mere scarcity, it's a saga of manufacturing cataclysms, of errors so significant they redefine the very fabric of minting, and of the unquenchable human desire to possess something that, by all rational accounts, should not and cannot exist. To truly understand how a single quarter, from a year when billions were produced, could possibly be worth $500 million, we must dissect the intricate process of coin production in a pivotal era for U.S. coinage, the layers of quality control, and the almost poetic dance of monumental mistakes that culminate in an object of unparalleled desire. The year 1968 was a watershed moment for American coinage, particularly for the quarter dollar. This was the year that the U.S. Mint definitively shifted away from silver coinage for circulating dimes, quarters, and half dollars. From 1932 through 1964, Washington quarters were struck in 90% silver. However, rapidly rising silver prices made this unsustainable, leading to the introduction of clad coinage in 1965. These new clad quarters consisted of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, resulting in a distinct, sandwich appearance when viewed from the edge. By 1968, the transition to clad coinage was well underway, and mints across the country were churning out billions of these new composition quarters. The Denver Mint, D-Mint mark, and Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark on quarters until 1980, were working at unprecedented capacities to replace the vast quantities of silver coinage being hoarded by the public. The production process involved massive presses, automated feeding mechanisms, and increasingly sophisticated, though still nascent by modern standards, quality control systems designed to ensure uniformity. It is against this backdrop of immense production volume and a significant compositional shift that the legend of the $500 million 1968 quarter dollar emerges, a testament to the infinitesimally small chance of catastrophic error defying all manufacturing norms. The core of the 1968 quarter's astronomical hypothetical value lies in a wrong planchette error of epic proportions. Specifically, the theoretical existence of a 1968 quarter struck on a solid silver planchette. By 1968, the mint was not supposed to be striking circulating quarters in silver. The last official silver quarters for general circulation were minted in 1964. While 40% silver half dollars continued until 1970, silver quarters were a relic of the past. For a 1968 quarter die to strike a solid 90% silver planchette, it would imply a failure of every conceivable control measure. Imagine a stray bin of obsolete silver quarter planchets, perhaps left over from 1964 production, somehow escaping the scrap pile, bypassing rigorous physical sorting and material segregation protocols, and making its way onto a high-speed 1968 clad quarter production line. This isn't just an improbable scenario, it's a manufacturing impossibility under normal operating procedures. The weight difference alone between a 90% silver quarter planchette, around 6.25 grams, and a clad quarter planchette, around 5.67 grams, would have been significant enough to trigger modern sorting mechanisms, but 1968 technology was less refined. Still, for such a distinct metal to evade detection and be struck, would truly be a miracle of oversight. This profound compositional anomaly, representing a coin struck on the wrong metal from the wrong era, is the absolute bedrock of its mythical $500 million valuation. It signifies a profound breach of standard operating procedures, a momentary yet cataclysmic lapse in quality control that results in an object that fundamentally should not exist. Alternatively, the error might not have been a 90% silver planchette but a 40% silver planchette, left over from the 1965 to 1970 Kennedy half-dollar production. While less valuable than a 90% silver quarter, a 1968 quarter struck on a 40% silver planchette would still be an anomaly of monumental proportions. These planchets were physically different, intended for a larger denomination, and would have required an incredible series of mistakes to be fed into a quarter press. The difference in diameter and thickness, while subtle, would have been enough to cause striking issues or mechanical jams, making its successful striking and escape even more astonishing. The value would still be immense, potentially in the tens or hundreds of millions, as it would represent an unintended cross-denomination and compositional error of the highest order. The rarer the unintended metal, the higher the value, and silver, even 40% clad silver, in a 1968 quarter, is an extreme rarity. Another possibility, further compounding the error, could involve a transitional error related to the clad composition itself. While 1968 clad quarters were the norm, could a quarter have been struck on a planchette that was, for example, missing its copper core, or incorrectly bonded, resulting in an almost pure nickel-copper alloy? While such an error might not yield $500 million, a profound and visually distinct clad error could still fetch astronomical sums. However, for the $500 million price tag, the error must be fundamental to the coin's very composition, placing it in a category of its own. Furthermore, the mule error, when combined with a wrong planchette scenario, elevates the value to truly mind-bending levels. A mule coin is one struck with obverse and reverse dies that were not intended to be paired together. Imagine a 1968 quarter struck on a 90% silver planchette, but also carrying the reverse die of, say, a different denomination, or perhaps an experimental patent die. Could a 1968 quarter have been struck with a 1964 silver quarter reverse die, but somehow on a 1968 clad planchette? Or, more astronomically, a 1968 quarter obverse paired with a reverse die from an entirely different US coin, or even a foreign coin that the US Mint was producing under contract? The layering of such improbable errors, a wrong planchette and a mule, creates an object of such unparalleled uniqueness that its value spirals into the astronomical. The more layers of profound, seemingly impossible error, the exponentially rarer and more desirable the coin becomes, driving its potential price to heights that defy conventional financial metrics. This combination of wrong material and wrong design pairing represents a catastrophic cascade of errors, making the coin an ultimate anomaly. The unconfirmed nature of this 1968 silver quarter legend is also a significant driver of its hypothetical value. Unlike some historical era coins with documented examples, the $500 million 1968 quarter exists primarily in whispers, in theoretical discussions among the most fervent numismatists. The fact that no confirmed example has ever surfaced publicly only intensifies the speculation and the desire. It's the ultimate treasure hunt, the holy grail of modern era coinage. The belief that such an item could exist, hidden away in an old collection, a forgotten inheritance, or a dusty drawer, fuels the imagination and the almost obsessive pursuit among collectors. The absence of a public auction record or widespread professional grading simply adds to its mystique and potential. If a specimen were ever to definitively appear and be authenticated, the ensuing bidding war would be unlike anything ever seen in the history of collectibles. The patent coin scenario also plays a vital role in this extreme valuation. Patent coins are experimental or prototype coins produced by the mint to test new designs, compositions, or denominations. They are usually not intended for circulation and are often destroyed. However, if a 1968 quarter was struck as a patent on a uniquely different planchette, e.g., pure platinum, or an experimental bimetallic composition, and somehow escaped the mint, it would instantly become an unprecedented rarity. Such a coin would not only be a wrong planchette, but also an unauthorized release of a unique patent, making it the ultimate rarity for collectors of patents and modern-era coinage. The fewer the known examples of a patent coin, especially one that was never meant to leave the mint, the higher its value. If only one or two such 1968 quarters exist, its price would naturally escalate to extraordinary levels due to its singular and historical significance. The errors and mistakes that contribute to this immense value are therefore a confluence of factors, each incredibly unlikely on its own, but cumulatively forming a numismatic impossibility that would redefine rarity. Firstly, the wrong planchette era, specifically, a non-clad, solid silver composition, 90% silver being the most valuable, 40% silver still immensely valuable. The presence of even a single solid silver planchette on the 1968 quarter production line would signify an almost inconceivable breakdown in material handling and segregation processes. Secondly, the wrong year composition anomaly, a coin from 1968 being struck on a planchette material, like 90% silver, that was officially phased out for years prior. This represents a profound chronological and material breach of minting protocols. Thirdly, the potential for a unique experimental strike that accidentally entered circulation, revealing a previously unknown or unreleased mint testing process. Such a discovery would not only be a valuable error but also a historical revelation. Fourthly, the possibility of a multi-error coin, combining a wrong planchette with a significant striking error such as a double denomination mule, e.g., a quarter die paired with a half-dollar die, or an exceptionally dramatic off-center strike, pushing it into an entirely new class of rarity. This compounding of errors makes the coin exponentially rarer and more fascinating. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, their unconfirmed existence factor itself amplifies its desirability. The fact that such a coin is merely a legend, a tantalizing whisper among collectors, creates an almost insatiable hunger. If it were to be definitively found and authenticated, the competitive fervor among collectors would be unprecedented, driven by the understanding that its discovery would be a singular, defining event in the annals of numismatic history. The $500 million figure itself is not a traditional market valuation based on comparable sales, because there are no comparables. Instead, it's a theoretical upper limit, a what-if scenario fueled by the extreme scarcity, the compelling narrative of profound error, and the almost limitless financial capacity of the ultra-luxury collectibles market. It's a price point dictated by the understanding that for a truly unique, irreplaceable artifact that fundamentally defies known production standards and redefines numismatic possibility, the world's wealthiest collectors will engage in an unparalleled bidding war. For a billionaire collector, the acquisition of such a coin isn't just an investment, it's a profound statement of unparalleled access, a testament to their ability to acquire the seemingly unacquirable. Owning something that literally no one else possesses, something that is scientifically improbable to exist, is the ultimate expression of exclusivity and prestige. The 1968 era quarter, in its hypothetical $500 million manifestation, represents the absolute zenith of era coinage, a phantom from the presses, a testament to the infinitesimally small chance of catastrophic, yet incredibly valuable, human and mechanical imperfection within a meticulously controlled minting process. Its very conception highlights the deep human fascination with the unique, the impossible, and the untold riches that can sometimes emerge from the most profound and unlikely of mistakes. It embodies the ultimate dream for a coin collector, to stumble upon an object so rare, so fundamentally flawed, that it rewrites the very history of coinage and creates an instant, unimaginable fortune. Next, prepare to be absolutely stunned, to have your understanding of value utterly redefined, as we delve into the fantastical realm of modern numismatic legend, where a seemingly unassuming coin, the 1987 P quarter dollar, is whispered to command an astronomical, almost unfathomable price tag of $290 million due to a cascade of errors and mistakes that defy every logical expectation of contemporary minting. This isn't merely a rare coin, it's a theoretical masterpiece of manufacturing anomaly, a ghost in the machine of precision production, whose conjectured existence sends seismic tremors of excitement and incredulity through the most seasoned collectors and investors alike. The colossal sum attached to this hypothetical coin isn't just a random number, it's a valuation born from the convergence of profoundly improbable errors, manufacturing anomalies that push the boundaries of what's conceivable in a highly automated environment, and the insatiable human yearning for an object that, by all rational metrics, should unequivocally not exist. To truly comprehend how a single quarter, from a year when billions were mass-produced, could ever attain such legendary status and a stratospheric price, we must dissect the hyper-efficient, technologically advanced operations of the modern United States Mint, the intricate layers of sophisticated quality control systems, and the infinitesimally small chances for something to go so spectacularly, yet profitably, wrong. The year 1987 saw the Philadelphia Mint, denoted by the P Mint mark, which became standard for quarters in 1980, operating at peak efficiency, churning out billions of circulating quarter dollars to meet the demands of a vast and growing economy. By this point, the quarter's composition had been firmly established as the clad standard, consisting of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This clad composition, introduced in 1965, was a permanent fixture, designed to reduce reliance on increasingly expensive silver. The coining presses at the Philadelphia Mint were highly automated, capable of striking thousands of coins per minute with incredible precision and consistency. Quality control systems, incorporating advanced imaging, electromagnetic sensors, and precision weighing technologies, were meticulously integrated into the production line. These systems were designed with the singular purpose of detecting and eliminating any coins deviating from strict specifications before they ever left the secure confines of the facility. It is precisely against this backdrop of highly controlled, technologically advanced, and mass-scale modern minting that the legend of the $290 million 1987 P quarter gains its almost mythical power, precisely because its hypothetical existence fundamentally contradicts everything we know about contemporary coin production and quality assurance. The absolute cornerstone of the 1987 P quarter's unimaginable theoretical value lies in a wrong planchette error of such profound improbability that it borders on the miraculous, the conjecture that a 1987 P quarter was, against all odds, somehow struck on a solid silver planchette. By 1987, the U.S. Mint had ceased all production of circulating silver coinage decades prior. The last circulating 90% silver quarters were minted in 1964, and even the 40% silver-clad half-dollars for circulation ended in 1970, though uncirculated 40% silver halves were made for collectors until 1970. For a solid silver planchette to somehow find its way onto the 1987 P-clad quarter production line defies every logical protocol. Imagine a rogue batch of obsolete silver planchets, perhaps forgotten in a hidden corner of a vault, or inadvertently mixed in from an entirely different, highly specialized numismatic program, like commemorative silver coins, though even those use different standards, somehow bypassing rigorous physical segregation, meticulous material identification, and every automated sorting mechanism. A solid silver planchette, weighing around 6.25 grams for 90% silver, or approximately 5.75 grams for 40% silver, compared to the clad quarter's 5.67 grams, is fundamentally different in weight, density, and electromagnetic signature from a standard clad planchette. For such a distinct object to evade detection by multiple layers of sophisticated 1980s technology, then be successfully struck by a 1987 P-quarter die, would represent a manufacturing impossibility under normal operating procedures. It would require a catastrophic convergence of human error, a series of mechanical malfunctions, or perhaps an almost deliberate act of misplacement that goes beyond mere oversight, transforming an unthinkable blunder into an unparalleled treasure. This extreme unlikelihood, this utter defiance of modern minting science, is precisely what inflates its theoretical value into the hundreds of millions. It represents a ghost in the machine error of the highest order, a profound compositional anomaly, signifying a complete breakdown in the system, resulting in an object that unequivocally should not exist. Alternatively, while less likely to command the full $290 million, the error could involve a different, wrong metal composition that is still incredibly valuable and improbable. Perhaps a planchette intended for a foreign coin, as the US Mint often produces coinage for other nations under contract, of a highly unusual or precious metal, or an experimental alloy being tested for future coinage, inadvertently found its way into the 1987 P-quarter presses. Even if it wasn't silver, if the metal was rare, or completely alien to domestic coinage, and somehow slipped through all the sorting processes, it would create an unprecedented anomaly. If this wrong metal also possessed unique properties that made it visually distinct, or if its discovery somehow revealed a previously unknown minting experiment, its value would skyrocket due to its singular nature and the profound story it tells of a monumental system failure. Furthermore, the concept of a patent coin being accidentally released into circulation takes on an extreme dimension here. While patent coins are typically prototypes or test strikes for new designs or compositions, rarely meant for public circulation, an unforeseen escape of a 1987 P-quarter struck on an exotic, truly unique experimental planchette, e.g., pure platinum, or a never-before-seen bimetallic composition, would instantly render it a one-of-a-kind numismatic sensation. This type of error combines the wrong planchette with the unintended release of a highly secretive patent, creating a layered rarity that collectors would fiercely compete for. The fact that it would be a 1987 P-quarter, a modern coin from a highly automated era, makes such an escape even more astonishing and valuable due to the heightened security and control measures in place by the late 20th century. Such a coin wouldn't just be an era, it would be a revelation of an unrecorded part of minting history. The extreme valuation of $290 million also hinges on the highly improbable scenario of a mule error combined with a profound wrong planchette mistake. A mule coin is one struck with obverse and reverse dies that were not intended to be paired together. While a simple mule error on a standard clad quarter, e.g., a quarter obverse with a dollar reverse, would already significantly increase its value. For a coin to reach $290 million, it would need to be a mule of truly legendary proportions, combined with a wrong planchette error. Imagine a 1987 P-quarter struck on a solid silver planchette, but also carrying the reverse die of, say, a different denomination, or perhaps an experimental patent die from a completely unrelated project. Could a 1987 P-quarter obverse be paired with a reverse die intended for a commemorative silver dollar, or even a foreign coin that the US Mint was contracted to produce, all struck on a solid silver planchette? This layering of multiple, nearly impossible errors, a wrong planchette, a mule, potentially cross-denominational or cross-country, and perhaps even an experimental die, creates an object of such unparalleled uniqueness that its value spirals into the astronomical. The more layers of profound, seemingly impossible error, the exponentially rarer and more desirable the coin becomes, driving its potential price to heights that defy conventional financial metrics. This combination of wrong material and wrong design pairing represents a catastrophic cascade of errors, making the coin an ultimate, unique anomaly of modern production, their discovery factor is paramount for such a modern legend. Unlike older era coins that might have circulated for decades before their true nature was recognized, a 1987 P-quarter of such anomalous composition would likely be detected relatively quickly due to its unique weight, sound, or visual properties. If it truly exists, its discovery would immediately trigger a whirlwind of professional authentication by the foremost numismatic experts, followed by an unprecedented media frenzy worldwide. The sheer shock and excitement of uncovering such an impossible artifact from a modern, highly controlled mint would catapult it into instant legendary status, and the subsequent bidding war among ultra-high net worth collectors would undoubtedly push its price far beyond any conventional valuation. The first and only known example of such a profound error from a sophisticated, 20th century minting environment would represent the ultimate, holy grail, for collectors of modern numismatics, embodying the absolute pinnacle of rarity and era coinage, challenging the very notion of what can escape a modern mint. Moreover, the human element of accidental escape takes on an almost mythical quality in the context of such a valuable modern era. Despite the increasingly sophisticated security systems, advanced optical scanners, automated weighing stations, and multiple human inspection points prevalent by 1987, stories persist, however rare, of coins escaping the mint that should never have. For a $290 million 1987 P-quarter to exist, it would mean that this utterly unique, non-standard coin somehow bypassed every single automated check and human vigilance, made it into a bag of regular clad quarters, was packaged, shipped, and then subsequently released into general circulation. The sheer statistical improbability of such an event in today's highly automated and secure minting environment only serves to amplify its mystique and, consequently, its hypothetical value. It represents the ultimate lottery ticket for a casual collector, transforming a loose change discovery into a life-altering, generational fortune. The $290 million figure itself is not a traditional market valuation based on comparable sales, because, quite simply, there are no comparable sales for an error of this magnitude and impossibility from such a modern era. Instead, it's a theoretical upper limit, a what-if scenario fueled by the extreme scarcity, the compelling narrative of profound, systemic error, and the almost limitless financial capacity of the ultra-luxury collectibles market. It's a price point dictated by the understanding that for a truly unique, irreplaceable artifact that fundamentally defies known production standards and redefines numismatic possibility, the world's wealthiest collectors will engage in an unparalleled bidding war. For a billionaire collector, the acquisition of such a coin isn't just an investment, it's a profound statement of unparalleled access, a testament to their ability to acquire the seemingly unacquirable. Owning something that literally no one else possesses, something that is scientifically improbable to exist, is the ultimate expression of exclusivity, prestige, and a legacy-defining acquisition. The specific errors and mistakes contributing to this theoretical, yet staggering, value are thus a precise confluence of highly improbable events. Firstly, the wrong planchette era, specifically, a non-clad, solid silver composition, 90% silver being the most valuable, 40% silver still immensely valuable, in a year when silver was completely out of circulating quarter production. The presence of even a single solid silver planchette on the 1987 P-quarter production line would signify an almost inconceivable breakdown in material handling, sorting, and quality control systems. Secondly, the wrong year composition anomaly. A coin from 1987 being struck on a planchette material, like 90% silver, that was officially phased out over 2 decades prior for that denomination. This represents a profound chronological and material breach of minting protocols and an astonishing failure of modern controls. Thirdly, the potential for a unique experimental strike that accidentally entered circulation, revealing a previously unknown or unreleased mint testing process. Such a discovery would not only be a valuable era but also a historical revelation of minting secrets. Fourthly, the possibility of a multi-era coin, combining a wrong planchet with a significant striking error such as a double denomination mule, e.g., a quarter die paired with a larger denomination die or even a foreign coin die, or an exceptionally dramatic off-center strike, pushing it into an entirely new class of rarity. This compounding of errors makes the coin exponentially rarer, more fascinating, and astronomically more valuable. Lastly, and perhaps most powerfully, their unconfirmed existence factor itself amplifies its desirability. The fact that such a coin is merely a legend, a tantalizing whisper among collectors, creates an almost insatiable hunger and drives their what-if speculation. If it were to be definitively found and authenticated, the competitive fervor among collectors would be unprecedented, driven by the understanding that its discovery would be a singular, defining event in the annals of numismatic history, a moment that redefines the limits of era and value. The 1987 P-era quarter, in its hypothetical $290 million manifestation, represents the absolute zenith of era coinage, a phantom from the presses, a testament to the infinitesimally small chance of catastrophic, yet incredibly valuable, human and mechanical imperfection within a meticulously controlled, technologically advanced minting process. Its very conception highlights the deep human fascination with the unique, the impossible, and the untold riches that can sometimes emerge from the most profound and unlikely of mistakes, proving that even in the modern age, the pursuit of the ultimate numismatic anomaly continues to inspire awe and fuel legendary valuations.